Hello, everybody. You are on the NHL Pearls of Wisdom show. We're back again after a freaking fantastic game of playoffs last night, except for the fact that the Oilers lost. We are here with Steele and
hmm
Payton on the radio. Yo, how you doing, guys?
Oh, I am doing absolutely amazing, except for the fact the Edmonton Oilers did lose last night. Except for that, it was another great day of hockey, and I can't wait for another great one. We have Florida and Tampa Bay tonight again. We got some great games, and Canadians in the Toronto Maple Leafs, so we got some good action coming tonight as well.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right.
No doubt. How about you,
Yeah,
Steele?
man. I'm doing great. I got to tell you, it's been really kind of amazing watching the games, watching the series, getting all engrossed. I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing? Great seeing everybody. Thanks for everybody to come on, and thanks for everybody to for joining us. Or we can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the big thing from last night is the Kadri hit. Did you guys see the Kadri hit?
Oh, jeez, what the heck was Kadri thinking, man?
You can't hit a guy
He
that high.
killed He killed Falk, like totally knocked him out on the ground. And Kadri does this every single playoffs, it seems like, where he just screws over his team. He's a good player, but then he goes out and does something like that, I think, every single playoffs. And that was just a nasty hit on Justin Falk. And I think he's probably going to be suspended for a long time. I heard he's having a hearing on Zoom.
Yeah.
The day will be announced here in a bit. They still have to figure that out, but he's going to be having a hearing about that hit, and most likely he should be suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably gonna. That's the kind of stuff you're trying to take out of the game.
hmm
Okay, that's not the kind of stuff you want to be, promoting and such. So, yeah, that's such a shame too, because gosh, man, you got a great chance here, and you got to stain it like that. You
hmm
know what I mean? Like that to me, just really, really.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, though, right?
yeah, but the thing is, every time Kadri does that, he screws over his team. He did it for the Toronto Maple Leafs when he got injured and it ruined their center depth, and now they're about to do that for the Colorado Avalanche, and it's not a good thing for Kaji to do out there, man. It really isn't. And that was a nasty hit. I think that was one of the worst hits I've seen in a very long time on Justin Falk. Absolutely blindsided him and
Yeah, not
definitely
good.
should be suspended.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure he's going to be suspended. When he did it in Toronto, I kind of defended him a little bit, not so what he was doing so much, but the fact that he was the only one there that could, do physical stuff like that, and he was too small, right? So he's going in scared while he tries to fight all these battles, and I kind of defended him, but there's no defense for this. A guy comes up the middle like that. Okay, you want to hit him, that's fine, but you got to take him low. You can't in the NHL now be putting he had his arms up like, what are you doing? You're gonna kill somebody
I don't
doing
know.
that. This isn't.
Yo, hot take hockey. Sorry to cut you off, but welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, lad.
Yeah, buddy.
You can't do those kinds of dumb things like that, especially at this time of the year during these types of games. These are
hmm
the kinds of things. I mean, I'm not condoning what he did at all by any stretch of the word, because that was just brutally ugly and stupid. And he's probably going to get more than one game.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he has to,
way more,
especially with his history.
way
Right.
way more than one game.
Okay. So you took the words right out of my mouth,
Yeah.
Peyton, because he's done this before. He has a history of it. So this is not going to be a one game and okay, bad. Don't do that again.
No.
No, this is going to be a couple games.
Yep.
Oh, it has to be. And it was a nasty hit. You can't be doing that to someone. He fully knocked out Justin Falk. He was laying on the ground, fully knocked out. And in that type of game where, Colorado, I think they were already dominating in that game. You don't need to hit someone like that when you're already kicking that team's ass. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
nasty hit. You don't
look
need
up
to
on the
do that.
scoreboard.
Yeah, like you don't need to go out there and do that and sacrifice your team's depth for you wanting to hit that player. It makes no sense. It was a dumb hit
Yeah.
and should be suspended
He will.
without a
He
doubt
will
for a
be
very long
suspended.
time.
Before you go on, I want to
Yeah,
catch Hot Take Hockey. John, glad you're here. Awesome. I'm always glad you're here. You rock, man. Hot Take Hockey. I've been shadow banned. You know what that is on YouTube. So I don't know if you could help out a little bit and get people to and maybe shout me out a little bit because to break that ban, that'd be awesome. So everybody out there, I've been shadow banned, so you can't see my videos and stuff. I don't know what I did wrong. I'll find out. But yeah, if you want to help out, check out my vids, tell people about it, share it on social media. You get the views up, and they'll unshadow ban me. Anyways, yeah, you saw it on. You could see it on his face.
Hmm.
You could see it on his face after he did it. Like he knew. He knew when he was going off the ice, I'm screwed.
I mean, you, when you do such, you can't tell me you don't know that that's not a good thing.
Yeah, before you do it, like you can't just notice afterwards, like, oh, I just did a very bad thing right after you just did it. Like you should know when going into it, like, oh, am I gonna nail this guy in the head? Or is this going to be a clean hit? If it's not, then don't do it. Just avoid the hit. Go after the puck instead of trying to deck the player.
I mean, if you have to resort to putting your stick up to hit somebody,
Yeah.
then you probably shouldn't be going up against that player with your stick like that. I mean, maybe it's just me. I mean, look, I know what it's like. I've been on a playing field. I know what it's like to go up against the big dog. You know what I mean? And you're not the big dog, and I get it. All right. But sometimes you got to understand that you can't be doing stupid things like that. That's just stupid. I really think he should get more than one game.
He's going to get 5 to 8.
You
Yeah.
think it's going to be that
Yes,
5 to 8?
absolutely.
Okay. And do you think
Has to
maybe
be.
he'll get a $5,000 fine too?
I don't know. They don't usually add fines onto the. Either you get the fine
Oh,
or
they
not.
don't.
No.
Okay.
No,
No.
because usually you lose the money from your suspension anyways.
Yeah, that whatever. Those are game checks. That's not fine money.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
game
No,
checks.
that's just game checks that you're losing, which is
I,
actually more than a fine.
I don't know how it
Right.
works for the playoffs actually because players don't get paid for playoffs. Do you know that?
I
No, they don't.
guess.
So
No,
I
they
don't know
don't.
how that works for financially for playoffs or what have you. I don't know what's
I
gonna go
guess it's
happen here.
just you're sacrificing yourself. Like, I don't know, tons of games taking yourself out of the lineup. I guess that is just hurting your team in general, not really hurting you, just hurting your team, which Kadri seems to do almost every playoffs. Not last playoffs, but you know, this playoffs and the playoffs with the Toronto Maple Leafs, every time he gets suspended, takes himself out, and the team usually loses. So we'll have to see what Colorado does. They got a decent amount of depth, but once you take Kadri out of that second line spot, who goes up there? Comfer, Newhook,
Yeah,
Tyson
Yeah, you're
Jost. Is
running
he
out
going to
of
be?
people at that point.
yeah.
Is Tyson Jost going to be that big guy to step up into that second line and play those types of
Yeah.
minutes that Kadri was playing? Because I don't know. Kadri, I would look at him as like I would ask him in the locker room, like, what the heck were you doing out there, man? You just took yourself out of the lineup most likely,
Yeah.
and now we have to do it without you. Like, come on, man. Can't be doing that type of stuff out there because a lot of teams are not going to want you just to go out there and get suspended.
You it's, how do you account for dumbness like that? I'm sorry, it's just dumb.
It is
I
dumb.
it's I just I have a hard time with some of this stuff, I guess, and maybe I guess I'm just too old school, but I don't know. You just don't go around taking people's heads off like that.
No, no, you're practically almost like killing a man out there
That's what
on
I
the
mean.
ice.
Like, what are you doing, man?
So I hope Kadri gets suspended for a very long time. It sucks with the Colorado Avalanche, but Kadri's dumbness is gonna sacrifice some depth, especially going up against the Vegas Golden Knights, where I thought Colorado, had better center depth than what Vegas had. But now you lose Kadri out of that mix, and you're gonna be a bit weaker going up against the Vegas Golden Knights, especially up that center. You're going to be practically
Hmm.
even with that team because the only good centerman that they have there in Vegas is Carlson, and then it's Stevenson up next, and then Cody Glass, and then whoever else plays centerman
Yeah,
there in
yeah,
Vegas.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
So you lose
So
Kadri, you lose an edge on that Vegas series.
Yep.
it's
No, it's not pretty there. That was probably their biggest weakness, Colorado, if they had one, was up the
Hmm.
middle.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, even Kadri isn't this really, great. I wouldn't want him really as my second line center if I could help it. I'd want him more as a third line center. He's okay, but there's lots of second line centers I would choose over him in the league. And like you said, you brought up Jost. I mean, Jost has never proved himself to be that type of player.
Right.
They wanted him to be, but he really isn't. Comfer is growing into that role, and now he's just going to
Hmm.
be thrown into that role.
Yeah, pretty much. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is definitely going to test Colorado because, quite frankly, I don't really think that even though St. Louis has been playing, uh, let me rephrase, Bennington has been playing freaking
Yeah.
standing on his head. Okay. But it really looks like it doesn't really matter who Colorado puts out there. It's going to be a Colorado. But as you go down the line, now you're missing that depth now, and this is what's really going to hurt Colorado, I think.
Yeah, I
Maybe not in
think.
the immediate future, but maybe down the road.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. JP said, is he suspended for the rest of the playoffs? I wouldn't even be surprised by that. I think the league is going to be absolutely livid at Kadri for that hit. Like, it looks terrible for the league, especially with a reoccurring thing like this and how much they have been coming down on head hits. It looks terrible. Like, I don't know I don't know how far it'll go. I wouldn't be surprised if he was suspended for the rest of the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's,
Me neither. I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah.
he got suspended for the rest of the playoffs as well. That was a really
Let's put it
nasty
this
hit.
way: if he was, I wouldn't say, "Oh no, that's terrible."
Yeah, yeah, no,
That was a stupid play.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was.
yeah. I mean, you can't be doing that kind of stuff, guys. That's just not how it's supposed to be. That's just not how it's supposed to be. Sorry.
Yeah, I watched John's on Hot Take Hockey. John, he did like a 10-minute, 11-minute rant on it, and and I think he also maybe defended Kadri in the past as well. And I imagine our off the wall. I imagine the goat will have a video on it as well, and I'm sure it'll say all say the same thing. Like, there's not going to be any defenders for Kadri here. Nobody,
No,
nobody.
no way.
I mean, you can't even say like he was trying to defend somebody or defend himself or, you know what I mean? See, that's what I mean. It would be one thing if that's what you were trying to do, but he blatantly just stepped to that guy and just took him out. I mean, all right.
Do I think he actually went headhunting? No, I don't. But besides that, when there, it's just things you do now in the league in these situations to make sure you avoid having something like that happen. And if anybody should know it, it's him because he's been talked about it over and over and over again, and he's been suspended. You got to take him low there. You just you have to. You got to go low, hip check or something like that. But yeah, get down low and hit him in the stomach, chest area.
Well, I think it was
Not
actually from behind him, wasn't
no,
Kadri like the hit from
he
right
was looking.
behind, or was it
I
from the
don't know.
side?
He was looking right at him.
Okay. I was under the impression that it was more of him not looking or.
Yeah, it was
That's
on
what I was thinking.
the
Yeah.
title. Because I thought it was from behind, because I remember seeing it from behind. I'm just gonna quickly double check, but it was a little bit of a blindside hit.
That makes it even worse. Because that means
Yeah,
dude didn't
so
see him.
yeah, it was looks like he came from the left side of the ice and just came and popped him. Kind of like gave his elbow up, put his elbow up, and kind of smoked him in the head. And he was
Oh,
out cold.
jeez.
Like
Well,
Justin
for
Falk
sure,
was
Falk
like
Falk
Paul
wasn't looking
Korea.
for that. Falk wasn't looking for that at all. Like he wasn't
Well,
No,
yeah,
thinking that
he
a
was
guy was
looking
going
to
to do
take
that.
a shot. Kadri came out of nowhere from the side and just collided with him
Yeah,
and smoked him in the head.
yeah. It wasn't really behind, but it would definitely was
It was
blind spot for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It was on the left blind side. You just it was a dumb hit. Don't need that in the NHL. You got to suspend him without a doubt. But yeah,
yeah.
I got two words to say about that. Well, bye.
bye.
Yeah, he's gone. And
See you later, bud. Have fun up at the press
Colorado,
box.
Yeah, right.
Colorado's now in a tough situation without up the middle there. There's not a guy that they needed to lose. Although I don't think he was having like incredible playoffs or season in general this year actually. So,
Yeah, but you
but
know what though? You know what though, Perlo? It doesn't. It's not necessarily that guy having all that great of a season. Blah blah blah. It's all the cogs that work together that make it go. And you start throwing cogs out and start putting new gears in. You understand what I mean? So yeah, he might not have been, the biggest scorer. He might not have been, but he's part of that core group of people that's been putting it together for
And
Colorado.
he's still a human being, right? Like you get hit in the head, that's a dangerous hit. It really is. It could hurt that person's career. Could affect a lot of things if they get a really damaging concussion. So you don't want those things in the game,
yeah,
especially what Kadri did, that huge elbow. It doesn't matter what type of player it is, you might be costing them their job, basically by doing something stupid,
Or their
which is what
career.
Kadri's doing. Yeah. So
yeah,
Kadri needs
yeah.
to smarten up. He can't be doing something like that,
Well, he's going to
especially when
have some
Falk didn't
time to
know.
think about
Oh,
smartening up.
well, he's had time.
Well,
When has he ever learned? It's
yeah.
almost like Rafi Torres 2.0. Rafi Torres got suspended multiple times. Even same with Matt Cook, but Matt Cook still did the exact same thing. I don't know. Kadri needs to do some maturing, and it seems like he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, and Toronto traded him after. I mean, they obviously saw something in him that he wasn't going to change. Because I mean, they couldn't really afford to lose a center like that either. They ended up getting not too bad there. It was like Kerfoot and what
Mm,
else was it? Kerfoot and a pick or
Kerfoot and
something like that.
Barry.
Well, they got Barry, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they ended up getting Barry,
Okay.
but
Okay.
that was when Patrick Waugh was screaming to get rid of Barry, and then he because they didn't trade Barry fast enough, apparently. It's not the whole answer, but they didn't trade him fast enough, and he decided to quit. So now he's out there looking for an NHL
Well, it's
job, and
understandable why Wall wanted him out of that town because Barry
yeah,
is can't play defense.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he Barry never could play defense very well. And when you're talking about Patrick Waugh, an ex-goaltender, that would just grind him to see
Oh,
a guy,
it
you
would.
know.
So you think he's still looking for a job, eh?
Well, he's came out and said it that he's available
Oh,
to
he
be
did.
play.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And there was talk about him replacing Bergevin, and I'm like, that's never happening. There's no, after what happened there in Montreal.
All
Which you
right.
remember
Well,
that? Yeah,
so where I mean, there's a
I've
couple of
been
guys.
I've been hearing Gerard interviewed by Columbus and
Who has?
Seattle and Columbus have interviewed Gerard Gallant, Kraken and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Well, the Kraken have come out and said that they want to hire a coach before the
Hmm.
draft, which that would probably be a good idea.
It's going to be very soon, I think, here in the coming weeks. I
Yeah.
think Seattle will most likely be hiring a
Yeah,
coach.
And
right.
I
Okay,
was
it's
incorrect about that. Obviously, I thought they already. I felt behind the scenes they already had their guy Boudreaux, but they are now interviewing Talkett and stuff like that. So
Yeah, oh yeah, I heard about Talkett as well. Yeah,
what being
I think it
interviewed
was
with
Gallant and
Seattle.
Talkett.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seattle interviewed Talkett.
See, yeah, see, Bruce Boudreau is another. That was the name I was going to bring up too. That's another coach that's out there too that is probably kind of still looking for a job too. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And of course we have Tortorella's out there looking for a job if that's what he wants to do too. And there's some jobs available now. Columbus, New York,
Yeah,
Seattle.
and did you guys hear about Tortorella and having some problems with Columbus this last year and how he didn't like the team and how it was like built? He was having problems with Kekalainen, apparently from what he was talking about. So that's why he didn't want to re-sign with the Columbus Blue Jackets because he just didn't fit the mold of the team.
That's a good way to put that. Yeah, that's a good way to put
Did
that.
he said he didn't fit with the mold? Tortorella didn't fit with the mold of the team.
Yeah, like how it was built. Like he didn't fit with how it was built. Like he didn't like how things were
Yeah,
going. He
Tortorella said
saw the
that.
team kind of going down.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah,
yeah,
and that's why they had a bad year this season because he knew that the team that was built this year wasn't the team that was going to go very far. And Tortorella definitely needs to go somewhere else. I think Columbus needs a different coach in that team. They looked like they were going a different trajectory than what usually Tortorella coaches, especially with the players that they were picking up. And looks like they're going to be going younger as well, especially with having a nice draft lottery odds in this upcoming draft lottery. I think they have almost a top 5 pick. I think they could possibly get. I think they're around that area.
yeah.
Okay.
They have a top five pick. While I mean Kekalainen is brilliant, he's done some great stuff for that team. He could turn things around faster than I could possibly think, but it certainly looks to me like they have no choice but to go with the straight rebuild now in Columbus. And for
Well,
Tortor,
I thought I saw somebody being coming back for Columbus as their president or
John
something.
Davidson went from New York Rangers, and John
Yes.
Weichel just brought that up. Awesome, John. Yeah, he went from New York Rangers, who he was wrongfully fired from. He's one of the greatest.
Yeah,
He's
right.
one of the greatest hockey minds. He built the St. Louis Blues teams that won the cup. He's a great human being in general, like classiest
Hmm.
guy you're ever going to meet. I think it was a terrible thing for him to fight. He went to the Rangers because he's from New York. It was his dream. It was
Yeah.
his dream job, and all because of whatever an owner that's got a crazy finger, I think, anyways, for what he did. And then Columbus just takes him back with open arms, and I would too.
Yeah. I love this combination of Davidson and Kekalainen. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be looked out, I guess, in the future. Like this Columbus Blue Jackets team, especially with a top 5 pick this year, they should be able to get a very good player out of this draft. And especially with Kakalainen's experience and him drafting. And then you also have Patrick Laine, who I still think has the potential to be a very good goal scorer. Just needs a little bit more time and maybe a different coach to come and help him.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put that. I like that because I don't know. There's so many different question marks now with the coaches that are going to be available and the teams that are going to need what they're going to need. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the way certain things are, you have to try to. It's kind of like, yeah, you can put together a group of talent, but do you have the right coach that can bring them all together as a team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I think there's quite a few teams out there that are like that, that are in that kind of boat where they've got this combination of talent, but you know what I mean? They might not necessarily have a team, but they do have a collection of talent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Something in me says that Tortorella's going to go back to New York.
It's a possibility. I think. I don't know if they want to go with that type of build, but I think it is a possibility that New York Rangers does go back with him. Plus, didn't Chris Jury play for
Yeah.
Tortorella?
so did Panarin, and so did there was a couple other guys that came
Yeah.
over from Columbus to New York a couple years ago.
I would love to see that happen because it could put a rest this whole idea that Panarin left because of Tortorella and all that kind of stuff like that. That wasn't the case at all. He was always going to New York. It was always what he wanted to do. So, yeah, that would be.
And maybe he can get more out of Laffy and Capo Caco as well. Capo Caco actually had a really good year. Just
Yeah,
he just didn't play too well offensively. He was a great defensive player though. His analytics were up there. Laffy, I mean, he's young. I'm not gonna bust his balls because he's 18 years old, so he
but he
still has
played
tons of
pretty
time.
well though, all
He did.
things
In the
considered.
second half,
Yes.
especially, yeah.
I mean, he was basically thrust into a higher position than what he probably should have been in at his
Oh yeah.
age.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and yeah, he struggled at the beginning of the year, but you could tell, man, that things were starting to come together for him at the end of the
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's because like
for sure.
he's a young guy. It's just like Jack Hughes and how good of a year he had
I
this
mean,
year.
when you have the talent, the game's gonna come to you if you have the talent. You know what I mean?
Especially when you're coming into the league as an 18-year-old, jumping from either the QMJHL or the U.S.
Whatever,
developmental
yeah.
program. You're playing with your same age, and you're jumping in the NHL, and you're facing adults. You're facing big guys on that ice. And it's just a totally different game. You were able to just manhandle everyone. You were dangling all over the place. No one could stop you. And then you come over to the NHL and you have to play a different game. You have to be able to handle the puck while you have players pulling you around, and it's a totally different game once you get to the NHL, and it's something you got to get used to, especially as a superstar like a Laffy, who, analytically actually didn't do that bad either. Offensively, he was great. Needs to get a bit better defensively, of course, but
Oh yeah, but that'll come.
honestly, for his first year, not bad.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that'll come. You know what I mean? The more time he spends out there, the more, experience he gets. It's kind of funny though that they get the number one draft pick and they have what is their percentage now? Like 7.8 or 12 or
Oh, the Rangers?
yeah, their percentage is like
The Rangers, they got a 1.0 because they finished 16th, so they got a
Right.
1 point chance at winning the lottery.
yeah. So we're not gonna probably have the same thing happen last year again. Probably not.
Hopefully not. I swear, if New York wins it again, I was not one to win it last year, but they won it. They won it somehow.
I'll say.
Unbelievable.
I'll say.
Unbelievable.
You know what? There was a lot of really, really good freaking hockey last night.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
There
talk about
was.
that. I want to show.
Oh my!
I want to show. I want to
gosh.
tell you something. If you go right now to try to look up my stream on YouTube, it's not there. So yeah, funny thing.
Huh.
It's not there. Yesterday I could at least pull it up because I wanted to pull it up so I could get the chat going in my stream while on my phone. So when I'm not on the stream, I can talk to people, but it won't show up. So I've been shadow banned, everybody. So the only way to beat that is you keep on viewing my videos over and over and over again until they freaking break the shadow ban. Sucks. But anyways, yeah, we'll go look at the games from yesterday. Bill said Tortorella to Calgary. I think I think Sutter may at least be there for one more year. Didn't they sign him to a 2-year contract?
3, I thought.
3?
No, Sutter is 3, so
3.
this year and then 2 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tortorella probably won't be going to Calgary.
Yeah,
Nope,
and
probably not.
Kekalainen got an extension, and he deserves it. It's not his fault. He's just doing what the owners told him to do. I think as far as running, like when they didn't trade Panarin and they didn't pick up the picks, that to me screams as a Columbus ownership thing. Money, like Columbus is not a big money team, right? They have an opportunity to get playoff money and all
They're
that
not a
stuff.
big money market though
That's
either.
what I
But
mean by that market.
Kekalainen. They knew that even if you know it was either that you trade away the entire squad when you were winning games and you were actually looking like a decent team. Either you trade away Panarin and Bobrovsky and get a bunch of picks, or you keep them, you bolster your team up, and try to just go for something that, your team in your franchise hasn't done ever, which is win a playoff round, which is what they did. So even in that self, even when they did sacrifice their entire future, I don't know if it was either the ownership or it was Kukalana just making a smart move, even though, yes, it does. Even then, they didn't even really sacrifice very much of their future because they made it to the playoffs next year, anyways, and then they missed this year. And now they have 3 first-round picks in this first
I mean, they're
round.
pretty
So
stacked.
honestly, whatever Kukkalainen's been doing, keep giving them that contract because he is an amazing GM doing some really good work in Columbus, especially getting the amount of first round picks that he got in this draft that could be so unpredictable, especially this year with COVID, not being able to scout those prospects. I really loved what Kukkalainen did. He deserves that contract extension, especially in Columbus. And it's not a big money marketplace. It's not a place where a lot of players want to play. It's Columbus, Ohio. Not a lot of people want to go there. So it's whenever you could draft and develop players there, and especially try to build around line A, I think that's the way you got to go.
Yep,
Right.
and he's the best at that. So I'll go, and
Hmm.
that's I mean that's saying a
Okay.
lot.
All right. Well then. All right. Well then, let me throw something at you guys then. Okay.
Hmm.
Since we're all about talking about Columbus and all that, and Tortorella's no longer the coach there now.
Hmm.
So who do you guys think is gonna be the next coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Oh, that I
Because I'll tell you who I think would be a good fit there,
okay,
and that is Rick Tocchet.
maybe, maybe.
Rick Tocchet fit perfectly with Arizona. They were a very young franchise. And he also fits really well with Phil Kessel. And you think about it, Phil Kessel, Patrick Laine, goal scorer Patrick Laine. Now Phil plays a little bit of a different game, of course, but they are both highly touted goal scorers. So that is a very smart idea, mixing those two guys together. But the thing is, how expensive is Rick Tocchet going to be, and how much could the Columbus Blue Jackets afford, especially for a coach this
How much
upcoming
were they paying
season?
towards?
And
They were
since they've
paying
been
Six,
two and a half,
7 million.
three. No,
probably a
what?
lot of
No,
money.
it wasn't that much actually. Tortorella took less to stay there, three and a half, something like that. Yeah, it wasn't. It
Hmm.
wasn't up there.
Well, I guarantee you that the Tocchet's going to probably be right around that number.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I'm not going to project because this is Kekalainen. He's probably going to bring in a guy you've never even heard of before. Like,
You'll probably hear some AHL coaches like I'm looking at this list right now, like Nelson, former Oilers coach back in the day when he went 17, 22, and 7 that one year back in 2014-15. Some AHL coaching jobs. You got Dan Bylsma as well.
Yeah, I saw
Mike
that
Yeo.
too. I
oh,
was like,
not
"Ooh, all
not
right."
not Bilesma, not Bilesma. I don't think Bilesma will ever see an NHL god job again. Uh,
Why?
he's hated by his players. Absolutely hated. He's a micromanager who sits and yells at people because they didn't turn a certain way at a certain time. He's too much of a perfectionist. I heard this from Barnaby was talked about it a lot on Sirius Radio. He said it was when nobody wants to play for Dan Bilesma.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, even Jack Eichel said the exact same thing. He would not sign
Yeah.
an
So you
extension.
Yeah,
Bilesma was
and he got
there.
a bunch of crap for that, Jack Eichel, for calling out the coach. But he's not the only guy. It's been everybody. If you do what Dan Bilesma says, like as an X's and O's guy, you're not going to find much better, right? He's fantastic for that
Hmm.
kind of thing, but don't let him talk to your to guys. Like just put him in a room somewhere. put him on a screen and tell him to do some things. But some people just can't do it. Like, you got to be somewhat of a player's coach as well. You got to be able to have a relationship with your players and realize, let them make mistakes every once in a while and stuff like that. And apparently he was just non-stop on you all the time, all the time, all the time. And in this NHL, that doesn't fly, right? We know that. It's maybe back in the 70s or 80s you might be able to get away with that, but
Yeah, not today.
oh shoot, I didn't. Thank you. I've got because we're gonna look at the games. I forgot to turn off my window capture. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the games. We talked a lot here already. Now we're gonna get to like 20 minutes on the games, but we can talk longer than that. We'll talk after the break. Boston versus Washington. What a great game.
I wasn't able to watch the overtime, sadly, because I was watching the Oilers and Jets game. But whenever it was in intermission, I was watching a bit of it. And oh my lord, this game went on forever.
Okay, sadly, there was a little bit of something sadly that happened in that game where a referee was taken out.
Yeah.
Like in the second overtime, in a face-off down in the one end. Yeah, he went like he just was. His feet were taken right out from underneath him, and he just smacked the ice. Man, it was not good.
Oh damn!
They landed on his back, but didn't he keep on going though?
I don't know. I can't remember if he. I think he was. They helped him off the ice because they didn't. It wasn't that much longer after that is when the score happened. You know what I mean? So, but he smacked his head on the ice, and he was sitting there for a little while on the ice before he got up. You know what I mean? Before they were able to get him out. You know what I mean?
Steele. Bill T says Steele coaches the Flyers.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess that would be very bad news for Braun.
That would be bad news for a few players, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, let me tell you something, buddy. I got to do a show the other day with Jim Jackson, and we got to talk exactly about what's going on with the team and what he thinks. And I'll tell you what, he said something that really kind of struck me, and it was this. What stock does Chuck Fletcher take into this year? If he takes a lot of stock into it this year, then there's more than likely going to be some things that are going to change. If he doesn't put a lot of stock into it, then not going to be much change. And as we've seen so far, the only thing that's changed is the Phantoms are now without a coach. So more than likely, they're going to take one of the coaches from AV staff and put down there. And then they're going to have to hire somebody else to come in. But it's still AV is coaching and still Chuck Fletcher is the general manager. So, I mean, I guess they didn't put too much stock in it this year.
Yeah, that's the way it is. I was going to say, the executive in charge of all things that are things is in the house. Ronies.
Oh. The vice president.
The vice president? So who's the president?
Well, that would be,
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, they don't call me the Don for nothing. Well, actually, that is the president. You hear the president in the background, right?
Yeah, there you go. The president's in the background. But this game, Samsonov all of a sudden magically shows up and plays the game. Oh, don't you like the tricky little thing they did there? I don't think anybody knew what was happening.
I did not expect it.
Like, what did they do?
Anderson.
What did they do? Keep him in a box somewhere? Like, nobody knew. Nobody knew until he got on the ice. It was crazy. Like,
that's right up there with Torts saying, or Trot saying, there's going to be a Russian goalie in net. Like, all right, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate
that.
He doesn't want to say who it is, yeah.
Yeah, can you narrow that down?
And I don't blame coaches for doing stuff like that, although it drives me crazy because you don't know who's going to be in net. But teams can really, will change their way of and do video on each goaltender and stuff like that, and change the way they're going to play a lot based on goaltenders' weaknesses and stuff like that. So I don't blame
Mm-hmm.
it, but man, that was a surprise. I didn't see that coming at all, and that changes that series if Samsonov's on top of his game because uh, he's way better than Vanacek, and he's better than Anderson now in this stage of his career by quite a bit too. So that was a big win by Boston to win with Samsonov in there. It was a huge win. Did you guys watch a lot of that game? Anybody?
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't able to, but I watched the
Definitely.
highlights.
I was watching that game, and then the cool thing is that it was about 6 or so minutes off of the other game that was on, which was the Hurricanes and Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right. So I was able to like watch most of the whole first period of the Boston game, and then I only missed like the first 5 or so minutes of the first period of the Nashville Carolina game. Right. So then when I'd switch back, then I'd only miss about 5 minutes of the Capitals game, and then I'd switch back. And so I got to watch basically these two games. And I'll tell you what, Boston has just been able to find that other gear, or I have really been impressed with. I can't believe I'm saying this, and I was talking to the goat a little earlier today about his boys, and I said I can't believe I'm cheering for Boston. Oh my gosh! But the Bruins looked really good coming back like they have been, being able to take the best punch from the Caps and then just being able to slug right back. When Ovechkin scored the first goal last night, I was like, okay, it's gonna be like this now. And then Hall, 56 seconds later, bang! I was like, oh,
What a
okay.
beautiful goal by Hall there.
Oh
Ooh,
my
oh
God.
my lord, what a beautiful goal.
So it's gonna be one of those games, and we're gonna go into overtime, and that's sure enough, that's what they did.
Every game in the series, and nobody
Yeah.
has scored. Nobody. John brought this up several times on the stream last night. John, off the wall. John, everybody knows the goat. Uh, nobody. They have. There's not. There hasn't been a two-goal lead in this series at all.
That's insane.
Crazy, right?
Not for long. Not for long. I mean, like
No.
one team gets up, and then not too long later, it's tied.
Yeah, but there hasn't been a two-goal lead. Nobody's had a two-goal lead in this series. It's only been one.
Yeah, but I mean, it hasn't stayed. Like each time there's a
A
one
goal.
goal
Somebody
lead,
comes back pretty quick. Yeah.
somebody comes right back and scores, and then the next team scores, and you know what I mean. So it's been back and forth. I've been
Yeah.
watching this series very, very closely for sure. So
Garnet
uh,
Hathaway's having an incredible series this year. They're playing. He's
That
playing.
fourth line is
yeah, it
amazing.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Kagelin, Dowd, and Hathaway, they've been every time they go out there, they generate a lot of energy. Like Hathaway had 7 hits, Dowd had 7 hits. They just go out there, bang bodies, and get goals, and they've been doing great.
And block
Throughout the
shots
first
too,
couple
because
games.
Dowd Dowd blocked that shot right off the top of his knee there in the second period, and but he came back. Like he
Yeah.
only
Mm-hmm.
missed, like he went back to tunnel, and I guess they gave him a shot, or he chewed on some aspirin, or I don't know what they do back there, and he came back out and finished the rest of the game. So I mean,
Then
good on
finally,
you. I saw that shot too. That was a good old slap shot right there from the top of the slot, and it went right off, right above like where your knee pad is,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
right below where your thigh pants and pads are, right, in that only spot where there's no padding.
Yeah. And then
So I imagine he's got a big old goonie there now.
Craig Smith
Most
puts it
likely.
away in overtime. But the goaltending has been, especially Samsonov looks great. I'm on the fence now. I was on Boston before I found out Samsonov was in. If he's going to be in now regular, I wouldn't even want to put a pick on this. This seems like it's got seven all over it, and very exciting series.
It is. It is really exciting. I've been loving every moment of it whenever I have a chance to watch it. Especially since it goes to overtime, you could basically watch the game all day long.
Oh, by the way, we had some picks last night. Yeah, or yesterday, I mean. Mercer had 3-2 Bruins. There's Mercer again, nailing it.
Jeez. He mentioned about how he would be making fun of me if I was coach, just like anybody else that was coach. I would love an opportunity to coach that team. Are you kidding?
Yeah, yeah, for
Because
sure.
I would make them boys work.
Yeah.
They would
Mm-hmm.
work. They
Okay,
would know what it means to sweat.
we better get to our other games here as well because, well, we're probably going to have to go to break and then come back for the other games. The way it's going here. Hurricanes versus the Predators. We don't need to talk about that one too much.
No, I just like
Carolina's
to
just
ask,
way too much for Nashville. I was wrong about this one.
what the hell were the refs doing? 10 penalties last night?
Yeah,
7 on the Carolina Hurricanes. I was
yeah.
watching this game this morning, and I was basically put back to sleep with how many penalties were called during that game and how it just kind of slowed down the game.
Do
It
you know?
really did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what it was because there's really, I mean, the Hurricanes have just completely and utterly dominated the Predators all the way across
They
the
have.
board.
They
And
have.
it doesn't really matter what the Predators have done. They just haven't been able to sniff at anything with
Preds didn't
Carolina.
score one goal on that power on those 7 chances. Didn't score on one power play.
No, they
Seven
got shut
chances,
out. Yeah, they got shut
shut
out.
out. Dalkovich was insane. But yeah, I don't know what the rest. They were calling everything. It was like like you do the softest little thing the ref was calling it. Anything that was happening
Yep.
out on the ice, which was really weird because it was a playoff game. But this game felt like a regular season game when I was
Yeah.
watching it this
Like, what are
morning.
they trying to do here? You know what I mean? Come on.
It
Like every
almost
time there was
it
like a
almost seems
shoving
like they
match,
were trying to
they got
even it up for Nashville.
That's what I mean.
yeah.
I didn't say that, but you get where I'm insinuating.
Whoever paid for tickets to that game did not enjoy that game very much because the fans were chanting "refs, you suck"
Well, but
all night
actually, they
long.
probably did enjoy that game because
Oh
there
yeah,
was 12,000
yeah,
there,
12,000 there.
12,000 there,
So
and
almost
that
sold out.
place was rocking.
It was rocking.
Oh man, it's so great seeing fans back in the stands. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And it's so great to hear that chant, refs, you suck. It's great. I mean, come on. It's the next closest thing to being there at the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
And you can tell that this year has a much different feel than last year because everybody played in the same building, everybody had the same everything. It's just it was two different teams playing on the same ice.
Also to note, the Carolina Hurricanes did not have Jacob Slavin in the lineup as well in that defense core.
Correct. He
Yeah.
was a
And they still played it
scratch.
very, very well defensively. They shut out the Nashville Predators even without Slavin in the lineup, and
Uh,
they still dominated. I took this series to be a sweep, and I'm feeling pretty confident about my pick with the Hurricanes.
yeah, I thought Nashville would have more in them, but no, they don't. It's Slavin out of the lineup. I mean, I still think he should have way more consideration for Norris. It's like it's a best defenseman, and they still are crushing. By the way, Devondra, I don't know if Devondra's in here. Devondra had the score 3-0 for the
All
Kings.
right. Cool, cool.
Everybody had the Kings. Everybody. So
The Delkovich, though, he is the real deal, man.
He
oh
is,
yeah,
man. Oh my lord, is he sick? The way that like I was watching his game and the way he controls the rebounds, he doesn't let very much off. He's just very solid in the net, and he just makes those smart saves to just make sure that your defense doesn't have to work overtime to clear out that rebound. He swallows them all up. He does a great job in that net.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And the
yeah,
thing was, this guy was on waivers. All the teams in the NHL had a chance to grab this kid up, but no one did.
yeah.
Kick yourself, kick yourself, kick yourself, kick yourself.
Yeah, Lauren said
Uh,
the decibel was at 109. Yeah, the Canes fans don't get enough cred, man. They're great fans over there.
Oh, it's a hockey town now.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, it's great to see how the Hurricanes in Florida are growing so much this year, compared to recent years. Like especially with the way that the Hurricanes team is, and the way that Florida built their team this year, and the way that they've been playing, they begin way more fans. Whenever I see a game of theirs, you can just see how rocking it is. It's amazing to see, and especially for the Carolina Hurricanes team because they were down bad just a couple of years ago, and the arena was absolutely insane during that game. Especially in the opening, you see all the fans, and they're like, "Yeah, there's like 12,000 people, and there's barely any empty seats." When there used to be full of empty seats, it's
Yeah.
just great to see these teams starting to fill up their
and
arenas and
and not
starting to
because of
really have.
COVID, and not because of
No,
COVID. It was because they were, not a very good team. It's not a very. I mean,
yeah,
let's face it, Carolina is not a hotbed of hockey. It's tough to have ice when it's 70 degrees outside. Okay, it's just
yeah.
tough.
Well,
You know.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I think the owner's done. I love the owner. I love what he did. I love the surge. I love the way they think outside of the box. That's what they needed there in Carolina, and it certainly seems to be working. But we better get
Yeah,
to
and
the
the fact
next.
that they re-signed him too, so re-signed Rod Brindamore,
Oh
so
yeah,
that was
that
good
That
was
was
for
smart.
them.
yeah. No money was talked about in that deal. It's he's keeping it.
1.8 million, 1.8 million for 3 years.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
steal. Steal.
that is.
Brindy just friggin' wants to stay in Carolina there. That's a
He
steal.
loves it there.
1.8 million. My gosh, that's
Yeah.
nothing. But you know what? The owner will take care of him for the rest of his life if he keeps on if he stays there. So, okay, that's what
Oh, without a
he
doubt.
basically has said that. Next game, we better get into it. Edmonton versus Winnipeg, and I don't even want to talk about it.
I'll talk
Oh,
about it.
come on.
I'll talk about it.
Well, I know you'll.
I'll take the brunt. I'm an Oilers
I'll let
fan.
you talk about it, Peyton, because
Um, I actually, even though the Oilers lost, I enjoyed this game. I know you guys look at the score and it's 4-1. It was honestly 2-1. It was such a close game. Those two empty netters were some dumb coaching mistakes from Tippett. I don't know why they pulled the goalie at the time when we pulled the
oh, that
goalie
was
because we really
brutal.
didn't have strong. We didn't have strong puck possession, but yet we pulled the goalie two times in a row when we didn't have puck
Yeah,
possession. We lost this game because Dave Tippett was once again an idiot and decided to throw in Zach Cassian out in the lineup when he hasn't played in over 10 games. But why don't we play the guys that were actually playing games like Tyler Ennis, who is more talented than Mr. Zach Cassian, who actually on the game winning or on the goal that tied up the game, Zach Cassian decided to be a moron and go for a big cross ice hit and left somebody open, which ended up being a goal for the Winnipeg Jets. This game, the Edmonton Oilers actually played very well. I thought the team was pretty productive, even get anything going. The depth actually didn't look that bad. They were flying, especially McLeod. Neal was actually getting a couple good chances, but we weren't able to put anything in the back of the net. Hellebuck was really the big story of the Winnipeg Jets, and really the big story of that night. Hellebuck was amazing and stole the show for the Winnipeg Jets because analytically, you look at it, Winnipeg Oilers had an 80% chance of winning that game probability. They had an 80% chance, but yet we still lost it, and that's the playoffs for you. It was a disappointing game, without a doubt, Avatar for the Edmonton Oilers. But game two will be coming. McDavid usually gets pissed off after one of these games, and I feel like he will. It's only game one. It's a best of seven. We got still many more games to go, and I mean, the way that I
100,
look at it, Boston lost game one as well, so
118 hits in this game.
it was a lot of hits. A lot of hits.
118 hits in
Mick
this game.
Mick. Oh, what was I gonna say? McDavid didn't have a. Did he finally get a shot?
They had.
He didn't have a shot in
Um,
after the first two periods.
Am I
no, he had
correct?
two shots.
Okay, am I
Yeah,
correct
he
in
got
seeing
them at
this?
the
I
end.
can't believe I'm seeing this. So 118 hits
Mhm.
Yeah.
and one penalty.
Yeah, the rest weren't
Yeah.
calling anything. Actually, there should have been a lot more calls than what there was, especially on the second goal from Logan Stanley. One of the players held up Ethan Bear from going and defending the front of the net, which left Donato open, tipped it right in the back of the net, gave the Winnipeg Jets a game-winning goal. The refs weren't calling anything. There was a lot of calls that they could have called, but they didn't. So, in my opinion, I don't care because it was, there was only one power play for the Oilers and none for the Winnipeg Jets. So, in the end, if they're not going to call anything, then don't call anything. But you got to call a little bit of something, especially on something like that where you're holding the defenseman
Okay.
back.
Okay. So now
And
you get where I'm going on that one, right? Because in the Carolina game, there was 7 on
10 hits,
Carolina and 3, and not
10
nearly as many.
penalties,
Yeah,
10
and
total
not
in that game.
exactly. So it's like, what refs are we getting tonight?
Yeah, it's legit. Like I was seeing a tweet, like or from Slapshot Sweethearts, and someone like quoted it, and like who's the toughest team, and people said the refs are the toughest team to
Yeah,
go up
yeah.
against. Because basically, it really is that. Like you're really going up against the refs in a lot of the series, especially in that Hurricanes Nashville game where Hurricanes had to deal with 7 PKs. It was absolutely insane.
I agree. I
And I
agree.
agree, Hot Take Hockey, they were doing a great job at shutting down McDavid. They did a really good job of maintaining that top line. I love, like, especially looking at it analytically, McDavid didn't have the greatest night. He
Right.
was not skating as much. He wasn't doing as much. Even though you thought he was gonna have that burst of speed, he just wasn't going. And I feel like he just wasn't buzzing compared to Puljujärvi, Draisaitl, who actually didn't look that bad, or Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who also looked pretty well as well. So it's only game one. I think the Oilers will potentially bounce back, but we know the Oilers as chokers. They've done it before, so who
They
knows?
played well against Winnipeg during the season, though, right? They won more of the games. This wasn't one of
Sure.
those splitsies where, each team won the same amount of games. Edmonton won more of the games here against Winnipeg during the season this year, right? So that's why I kind of looked at this more as I actually have this series picked for 7.
Yeah, I took it to 6 because I knew it was going to be a tough series no matter which way you look at it. Even though a lot
Right.
of people were down in the Winnipeg Jets, this team is still a very competitive
Agreed.
team. I was talking about it in the last, in yesterday's live stream. I was saying that this team is still a really good team. And also, Kyle, I totally agree. It is, I mean, it's not even really a secret. You got to try to shut down Dry and McDavid. You could try. It's not even a secret formula to shut down those guys, but. Um, Winnipeg's a tough team. They got some strong offensive power, even though they didn't even have Ehlers and Dubois. The night to take a win out of Winnipeg was yesterday, and we did it. Now we got to really fight back, especially if Ehlers and Dubois get back into the lineup. So
Which I have a
I'm
feeling they
hoping we
will
do.
be.
I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping they're not, but they most likely will be rested up for Friday, and they'll be ready to go. So the others, Tippett gotta smarten up. He needs to become. I don't know. He's not coaching the way that I thought he was going to coach, and especially the lineups. You got to take Cassian out of the lineup. He was useless in that game against the Jets. He was doing nothing, and I think Cassian and McDavid had the same amount of hits. Cassian had 2, McDavid had 3. What is Cassian in the lineup for? Hitting? But McDavid's getting more hits than Cassian. He's useless.
That's not supposed to happen.
He should not be in the lineup. And Tyler Ennis should be in the lineup. He was a great performer last year in
Yeah.
the playoffs, and he
Yeah.
deserves to be in the lineup without a doubt.
Um, I don't have lots of time to talk about it, but I was saying that halfway through the year I was picking Winnipeg to possibly win the North, and the reason why is they play a playoff style game, and that's where the Oilers really have to. What I saw last night, I know that they were kind of outplayed, Winnipeg that is, but they were playing a trap system. They were playing the old Dallas style where you allow a lot of shots, and but you trap the team into shooting from certain areas and frustrating them
Yeah,
where they're not going to get high quality scoring chances. That's the way Winnipeg is going to play Edmonton. And Edmonton,
I
the
think
only way they're going to beat that
32 shots.
is they got to hit, skate, especially in the offensive zone. You got to hit bodies like crazy. You got to wear that team
and
down.
the biggest thing is that they gotta Winnipeg was blocking a lot of the shots. They just gotta get more shots on the net. They did get 33, but they gotta get more bodies in front of that net and more shots on the net
You
because
got
I
to
wasn't
play.
seeing that enough.
You got to grind
And
it
you
out.
gotta move that puck.
They
You
weren't.
gotta move that puck
They weren't
much faster
grinding it out
because
last night.
They
Yeah.
were doing great puck possession wise. I give it to the Oilers. They had great puck possession. They did good job moving the puck, but they didn't do it fast enough, and they need to do it a little bit
Yeah,
faster.
like
That's why I'm
like the
saying
Minnesota
Tyler
Wild.
Ennis. Tyler Ennis needs to be in that lineup. We need a little bit more speed with the Oilers. There's way too many big guys down in that depth where we just couldn't move the puck. We need some more speedier guys. We need some guys that can move that puck around, especially with the way that Winnipeg is playing right now. They're playing to shut down McDavid. And
Yeah.
if they're going to do that, we got to bring our speed and we got to bring our fastest game to that ice.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Well, that's why Cassian's in there because he's got to play the kind of game I'm
But
talking about.
he's useless. Analytically, he is absolutely
Yeah,
useless. Watching him
what
in
I'm
that
saying
game
though
was
is he's the only one that really is going to do that, and that's our problem.
Archibald.
Well,
Archibald when
to-
smoked a mellow.
again, one
7
guy.
hits. 7 hits compared to Cassian, who had 2.
Could
Cassian
could
does
you
not hit
imagine
anymore.
Edmonton playing Washington? Washington would absolutely pulverize them. That's what I'm trying
Well,
to
it's because
tell
they
you.
have depth.
Yeah, exactly.
depth.
We don't have any guys, enough guys that are going to be able to play like Cassian is supposed to play, but he can't.
So
Hathaway-
you're
Hathaway's
going
10
past
times
that
better
and
than
looking
that.
at like playing somebody from one of the other divisions
Yeah.
because that's what's going to have to happen.
Even in
And
this
see that
division.
Yeah. I'm with you. And that's been the whole talk about what we felt was going to come out of the North. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough for them to play in some of the other divisions because we don't think that they're going to necessarily match up.
Especially compared to the top teams out of those divisions like Colorado or Vegas. Those guys are the true
Carolina
true
or-
contenders. Yeah. Like those teams are going to easily be able to outplay either the Oilers. Who knows? Maybe the Leafs will be able to pull off something. We'll have to see how well they do tonight against the Canadians. But uh, man, wouldn't that be funny if the Canadians kicked the Toronto Maple Leafs ass in the first round and eliminate them? That would be hilarious. I'd be laughing up and down.
Well,
the
that would
street.
be really bad for my bracket, but okay,
Yeah, that
I
would
could
be
see
bad
it.
for my bracket. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I would be laughing really hard if I were to see Montreal beat the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I actually am kind of leaning to him a bit in this first game because Gallagher's back and all that energy from that. He's their heart and soul. But we'll get into
If
that.
they're playing Price.
We'll get into that. I know it depends on Price too, but we'll get into that when we come back because we'll talk about all the games coming up. By the way, the Oilers Jets was what was the score again? It was 4-1.
4-1 was the score.
Nobody had to score. Avatar had 5-1. I had 3-1. And E-Money had 5-1. We were all around it. No, that was the Oilers. Sorry, the Jets had.
Jets were 4-1 over the Oilers.
Right. Oh, there was only one. Devondra again rocking it. Took the Jets. The only one that took the Jets.
Wow.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, because he bet the money on them.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, that's what Devondra said. That. Yeah.
The 2K.
Big scratch on the Jets.
There you
Crazy.
go.
He
Jeez.
just nailed it. He's not back to tell us about it. Okay, let's go to our get all your doggies out there. Get them out from outside or wherever you got to get them. Put them around the old computer there. They're gonna love this. Gonna get all excited. Give them some treats, and we'll be back with you to talk about all the games. We'll do some picks and all that kind of stuff after this message.
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taken care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger, and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. Both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for an intro swim. We use that time to make sure the dog is comfortable in the water. We make sure they know how to get out of the pool safely, and we go over all the pool rules and etiquette with the clients as well. After that, they're able to schedule private appointments where they have the pool to themselves, or they can invite friends and have a whole group swim going on.
So after a dip in the pool, then it would have to be off to the groomers, right? I mean, our furry friends cannot go out looking their best. Nicole, what are some of the great services your top-notch groomers provide?
Our groomers, they specialize in full service grooms. We can do the basics, whether it be just a bath and a brush out or a blowout. Or for the extra pampered pooches, we can do nail dremels, we can do deodorizing soaks, and also facials.
Wow, man, that sounds like a resort if you ask me. Tracy, I know one of the main programs here at CCC Resorts is the WAGS program. The Steel Flyers dog is enrolled in this program. So why don't you tell the folks what is involved in this and how they can get enrolled?
Yeah, the WAGS program is our primary daycare option at the Windsor. It's designed to be a structured program for people who are looking for a set routine for their dog. They all come on the same days each week, which allows them to have set friends, and we know exactly what's going on with each group. So we do a little bit more activities, and we build more into their daily routine there. But we've got other daycare options as well for people looking for a little less commitment. We do an hourly care where you can drop them off and just pay by the hour. We also do a day stay option, which is great for the dogs that prefer human friends instead of making friends with other dogs. And then we have a traditional daycare option as well if you're looking for the occasional outing for your dog.
Wow, there you have it. A full service groomer, a daycare program, and an indoor and outdoor pool. What more could you ask for? Sure seems like CCC Resorts has everything covered. Remember, DOG, depend on God. We're turning everything off. Nope, sorry. I'm just kidding.
You can't be a Crosby
Okay,
fan
everybody.
and Steel Flyers.
There we go. So we got one more game. We do have one more game to talk about first, don't we?
Yeah. The Blues Avalanche game.
Oh, that was such a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so all over Colorado with that.
Colorado just looks insane. It's they've taken it to a whole nother level now. The Blues actually had some pushback last night and stuff, but
Yeah.
they couldn't do anything about it.
No, it's just
didn't
too
matter.
powerful.
Didn't
McKinnon
matter.
got his first ever playoff hat trick in this game as well.
I just
Yeah.
realized I forgot my bow tie today. Jeez. Why didn't you bring that up? Oh
I
my
thought
God.
you were doing it on purpose, man. I thought you were trying to
No.
go with the straight
my
button, man. I
gosh.
thought, all right, he's got his hair on, so that's all that matters, right?
Wow, that's crazy. I pulled it out, I got a phone call, and forgot to put it on.
Well, that'll learn you.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up beforehand.
I wasn't honestly. I saw that you had your top button on, but then I saw that you had your special duty wig there, so I figured I'll let you slide because you're wearing your special duty wig. So
I should have said that what I did with my wig when I didn't wear it one time. I sent it off to Five Guys wig cleaning. I just said the same thing about my bow tie. Stuff and beautiful now, eh? Five Guys
oh
wig
man,
cleaning.
Rocking the mullet, baby. Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I forgot my tie. I'm all red faced now. Embarrassed.
You know
Okay.
what is so weird, Peyton? Do you know what's so weird?
What?
Looking over there and seeing Pearlo with freaking hair.
Yeah.
It is weird.
I'm sorry, man, but I am not used to seeing the sway going down the front, and all these locks and stuff hanging. Like, I'm just so used to the. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind it. Actually, I got the window open now, so it's cool in here because it's.
Oh
Do you know
yeah,
that?
there you go.
I don't know what it would be in the United
Hey.
States, but it's like not much above freezing here
Okay,
today.
that's
So
it's a little warmer than that where I'm at.
we
It
had
was close to 90
snow
degrees today.
Yeah, it's
So,
not even close to that. Like 35, 40, something like that. Yeah,
In
I think
May
that's what
still?
it's.
In
We
May?
had snow 2 days.
Well, you
We had
guys didn't have
snow.
you guys didn't have anything early though this year, right? Everything came late.
No, we did. We had a warm winter, but we're having warm winters and cold summers last year too. Anyways, McKinnon got 4 points last night. Colorado's going to destroy that series.
Had the Hattie.
I
Oh,
can't see the
McKinnon.
Blues. This looks like a sweep to me.
I thought, St. Louis was. I mean, I feel like they're gonna at least pull out one win when they got to go back home. I think Bennington might steal them a game. I think McKinnon got to go quiet one of these
Well,
games. They
now
got to
the Kadri's out.
figure it out. Yeah, maybe when Perron comes back or something, but they got to pull off some kind of miracle there, St. Louis. They got to step up their play just a little bit, and they also got to see their top line contribute. They haven't seen any production from Ryan O'Reilly or Tarasenko or Kyrou. They haven't seen too much from or Schwartz.
Even
So they got to see
Hoffman
those
too.
big guys. Yeah, they got to see those big guys produce. I mean, Hoffman did get a goal in this game, but
Yeah,
even then, that's like
and
one
so did
goal out of the two
Shen.
games.
So did Shen.
Mhm.
Right, and
Yeah.
O'Reilly got an assist, but I mean, for the most part, though, they have been pretty much these last two games. They really haven't been. I mean,
No, they haven't
but
been
that
really
you
the
have to
talk of the
attribute that
game.
though to Colorado, because
Oh,
Colorado has
Colorado's been playing amazing.
they have been all over them. I mean,
Mhm.
look, I've watched enough hockey to know that when you watch a good team, when they come on the power play, they have three guys coming across that blue line and they're skating the puck in,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they gain possession of the line, they get into the zone, and then they get set up. Teams that, to me, maybe that aren't so at depth at that, dump the puck in.
Mhm.
Okay. I am a huge, firm believer, and here's some of my coaching style, by the way, Mr. Mercer, that if you are on the power play, you skate the puck in because you already have possession of the puck.
And you have an
Why?
extra man.
And you have an extra guy. Why are you giving it away? I don't get it.
Or the dump
So
and
maybe
chase
you don't
type thing.
see a seaman. Yeah, the double chase, which is like I don't know why a lot of teams still do it. It's like a 50% chance you're gonna pick up the puck, and if
Or
teams both
worse.
are doing it, it's like you dump it in, they pick it up, they carry it down, they dump it in, they pick it up. I see it a lot during some games where a lot of teams just have the same philosophy
Or
and
you
they
get
just
a
dump and chase.
or you get a goalie like Brodeur, right, who is able to be that goalie and snag that puck from back there, right,
Yeah.
and get it up to his guys. That so I mean, either way, when you have a goalie that can move the puck, or you have a team that's going to win those battles, dumping and chasing is not the way to go.
Uh, Yeah.
No.
Yeah, especially against dumping and chasing against a Colorado team that has McCarr and Byram and the guys that can move the puck like that. You don't want to do it too often. There are times when you have to, but if you try to do it on a regular, those guys are going to have that puck out of the zone before you even come close. And that's the reason why Schwartz and those guys aren't getting anything,
Exactly.
because by the time they get there, they're like, "Where'd everybody go?" You
Yeah,
know,
because
they're
they're
gone.
gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Like they're
No,
they're
I'm
they're
not talking about there's times when you need to do it.
yeah.
I'm, yeah. But when
Yeah.
that's your philosophy,
No.
yeah.
No.
See, that's
Yeah.
what I have a problem with.
Yeah. And
I'm
Craig
sorry,
Craig
but
Craig Berube was a big dunk. See, they got away with it that year they won the cup. They got away with it that year they won the cup a little bit. They played a lot like that when they won the cup, but they don't have the same players that they had back then. The other thing is St. Louis can't combat that. Colorado can dump and chase against St. Louis if they want to, because their defense is Falk. What's Falk going to do against your dump and, Krug? They got enough speed to get in there fast enough that if they do, Krug and Falk can get the puck out quick. Don't get me wrong.
Well, now Falk might be out now.
But
especially with the way that
he's definitely
especially the way that Nate McKinnon skates into the zone, and if they were to do dump and chase, it's just like dump, and he's already at the puck. Like it is insane what McKinnon could do out on that ice. It's insane. 7 points in 2 games to start off the playoffs. He, like I said, I honestly do believe the Colorado Avalanche are a very strong Stanley Cup contenders right now, because you lose 2 years in a row in the second round. McKinnon is done. He wants that cup. Their team has been talked about it for a while that this could be a potential contender. They want that cup here soon. And I feel the way that McKinnon's is starting off this campaign, he's going to finish it all the way through. I think he's going to destroy through the playoffs this season, especially with how he's starting off against the Blues. He's insane.
And I'll tell you what else, too. I really think that you're going to start seeing even more of Rantanen. And I think you're going to see more of Landeskog, because Landeskog is also very, very hungry for a cup.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and he's one of their longest tenured players on the team right now. Right? And he's their cap. You know what I'm saying? So
he's been their captain since he was like a kid. Since he was 20 or 21 years old. Crazy.
He was the second youngest captain next to when Crosby got it.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
McDavid took the youngest.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, I think McDavid took number 1 for the youngest captain. I'll have to research that.
Well,
but I know Landeskog was like
it's
3.
Hughes now.
Oh yes, was it
It's
Hughes?
Hughes now, because he got the captaincy this year for New Jersey, right?
Yeah. And
here it is. Brian Bellows.
Not
is
Hughes.
number 1.
Hughes isn't a captain. Heischer.
I'm sorry, Heischer. I'm sorry.
No, Heischer.
Brian Bellows.
I think.
Brian Bellows with the Minnesota North. Yeah, Brian Bellows with the Minnesota North Stars is number 1. McDavid's second. Landeskog's third. Crosby is fourth, and then you got LeCavier, Taves, Yzerman, and then Jim Schofield with the Buffalo Sabres there.
Wow. Jim Schofield? Wow.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy. That sounds like something Buffalo would do. Some no-name gets the captain when they're
Yeah.
Crazy.
21 years old.
Actually, he was a good player, but captain, come on. Okay, let's get to the games for tonight, because we got.
Oh, by the way, the score on that was 6-3. Anybody have that?
Oh,
Colorado 6, Blues 3.
Oh my gosh, Devondre was on fire. Although he didn't get it. It was 6-2 we had, Avs, and then E-Money had 5-2. Mercer had 4-2.
Yzerman was 21 when he was captain, Lauren.
Yeah.
21 in 151 days.
He was 21 going on 40. Like, that guy's the most mature dude I've ever seen in my life. Crazy. I remember when he got captain, everybody was like, yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Like, he was incredible. He's my favorite male human in the planet. So, Stevie Yzerman. I love Stevie Y. So, okay.
All right, here we go, man. We got some serial.
Who's ready for Thursday night hockey? We got some good stuff tonight.
Oh man, we got some serial games tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna
Some
do.
big games.
We'll take your picks out there for fun too. Why not? Panthers versus Lightning is the first one, and this is going to be a brouhaha, I would imagine. If Drigger's in. Drigger is in. They're putting Drigger back in. There was talk about Bobrovsky, going back to Bobrovsky, but they're putting Drigger in. Tortorella, quite obviously, is fed up with Bobrovsky. I seriously, I think.
Tortorella? Who, what?
Yeah, Tortorella.
Sorry, Q. Q is fed up with Bobrovsky. I think
See,
he's
we didn't even have the clock on him, and he's still talking about Tortorella.
well
Wait a
because
second.
when you say
Whoa.
a coach and the words fed up, Tortorella usually is the one that comes out of your mouth.
All
I
right, I'll
suppose.
buy that. All right, I'll buy
I think that's why.
that. I'll buy
But
that.
that's what I meant to say. He's doing a Tortorella. Q is doing a Tortorella. Although Tortorella has never did that to goaltenders before, only to players. Always he's always had pretty soft mitts with his goaltenders. But I think he's fed up with Bobrovsky, and he should be. Bobrovsky, I listen to a lot of the stuff he's been saying, like they show in interviews and stuff, because the guy fascinates me. He had 2 Vezina trophies, and when he left Columbus, he was having hissy fits all the time. Do you remember the game when he left the arena in his equipment? He lost it so bad.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it because it happened in Columbus. Just imagine if a goaltender did that in Toronto. That would have been like all over the place, right?
Oh, it would have been without a
It's
doubt.
unheard of
Well, that
for.
player probably wouldn't be playing in the NHL anymore if that happened.
Well, I don't know about that, but they certainly
Well,
would be. It would have been lambasted all over the place. But because it was Columbus, everybody was like, "Oh, that's weird," but it was
Also,
crazy.
also to note, in the lineup as well, Keith Yandel is being scratched tonight as well, who
oh,
is an
okay.
absolute bum defensively. So good,
Yeah,
smart move by Quinville to take Yandel out of the lineup.
Yeah.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
been a problem with them. That's the reason why they tried to trade him before the season. Eh?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
That's the
because
reason.
he can't play defense.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
can't play defense,
Yeah.
and
He's all
it's
about the
very
offense,
noticeable.
but yeah, for
And he
sure.
can't
and he's
skate, and he can't skate very much either. He's a very slow skater. So you watch him out there; he's a very slow offensive defenseman. Which I mean, I don't think it fits the mold of the Florida Panthers. So it's a good move on benching Keith Yandel, and it looks like Anton Strawman will be in instead.
Yeah, I think that's a
all
better
right.
move for them. I think that's a better move for them. I'll tell you what, I really had this one misread. I really thought that Tampa Bay was going to be rusty. I thought that with Kucherov not being in, with Stamkos not being in, I thought it was going to be a little tough road to hoe. And I actually, okay, I picked Florida. Me and Jim are in the same boat. We can't pick this stuff to save our butts. So I just do it for fun. Yay!
Well,
But
you called me the prognosticator, and I got fooled by Tampa myself. So I'm now that I'm looking at it. Remember, I was doing all. Yeah, I'm sure you remember the Pearlo rants about Tampa Bay this year in the regular season.
many a
Yeah,
time do I remember those rants, sir. And that's why I was like, man, okay. But I didn't believe you. And I was like, I have to believe it till I see it. So guess what? I take it back, Pearlo. I take it all back, man. You were right. This whole time, this all this team was doing was just playing possum until the frickin' playoffs, and then the playoffs come, and boom, they just
they
go
were
into
rest.
they go into Florida and explode all over the Panthers. Right now,
Yeah.
they're going back home, right, with probably the Vezina winning trophy player, with uh uh oh, I can't think of his name now,
Kucherov,
Vasilevsky in goal,
Vasilevsky.
right? And they got Kucherov, who came out his first game back and scored 2 goals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And Stamkos scored a goal that game too, right? So they got them guys. I mean, seriously, this team is really stacked. And Florida, maybe they played well against Tampa Bay this past year, but I think maybe I was a little bit.
I
I
still have that slight bit of belief in them. I still have that slight bit of
I'm
belief in them. I picked
trying.
Florida.
I mean, I'm
I
trying.
have. They're only down 2-0, and they need this one tonight. This is a huge one for them tonight. The next two
Yeah.
are huge for Florida, and they need to win those next couple of games because if they want to stay alive, you got to win these types of games. And this is I feel like Florida might be able to march back into this game. I have that feeling. This is a game that's a must-win. Dredger has to play amazing. Barkov, Huberto, they've been playing great. Plus, they get Sam Bennett back in the lineup tonight. They
Yeah, he
benched
was missing the
Hughes.
first game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Sam Bennett is going to be huge coming back in the lineup. I feel like the Florida Panthers will take this one. I'm going to pick it 4-3 for Florida. That's what I'm choosing for this game. I'm picking Florida to win.
Okay. The Panthers 4-3. Okay. What was I going to say? I think the last time you said that you had a feeling it didn't end well.
Who, me?
Payton. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Don't
Same
believe
as me.
Don't believe my
Same
feelings.
as me. The last time I said I had a feeling it was a Blues, I thought, okay, the Blues. I just have a feeling about the Blues. They lost 6-1, so that was.
Yeah, but that's
that
the
didn't work out
Blues,
well.
though. I didn't have
Feelings
a
don't really
feeling on the
work well.
Blues.
That was me. I think you said that too sometime, and I can't remember what it was, but hopefully for Florida, this is not the case. So, I want Florida. I think I picked Florida because I so want this team to win. I think that's really why
Same.
everybody was picking Florida. We all want Florida to win this. But I think they just had to work too hard in the regular season. Tampa Bay, they basically paced themselves, which drove me crazy. I can't wait till we're back to an 82 game season and you can't get away with this. But honestly, it was a smart move now looking back on it. I was wrong. Teams that pace themselves through the year that did that look like they have a much better jump and they're playing very well going into the playoffs here. So
It's proven that's been the case. It's proven that's been the case. That if they do pace themselves, they've been able to sustain. You know what I'm saying? And
But
with
but
what Tampa Bay,
in an 82 they don't have to do what they did this year. It was just so
right?
condensed, right?
I agree. No, I agree 100%. That's what I'm trying to say. I agree with you. The fact
Okay.
that Tampa Bay was able to come out and play as well as they were, and it's like they flicked the switch. Pearlo, you've been saying it all year long that Tampa's just kind of phoning it in until they get to the playoffs. The playoffs come, and then boop, okay, we're ready to come play and kick your butt. And that's basically what they're doing. So
I can't take Florida with Bobrovsky in that. Or no, it's not Bobrovsky. It's Trigger.
it's
Okay.
it's Drager in that, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. I have really been impressed with what they've done down there in Florida. I really think that although they might not, I think they're a really good team. They just got the short end of the stick with getting Tampa Bay as their first round, as their first round. You know what I mean? If they
Are they
would
going to
have
do
had,
that?
if they
Are
would
they
have
going to
had
do better?
Nashville, I think that would be a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that's true. If they would have had Nashville, they probably could have won the first one for sure. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's just kind of odd, or kind of the short end of the stick that they got with Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? Because Tampa Bay was just kind of phoning it in too. They finished in third. Where they were leading the division almost the entire season. Up until like the last couple weeks of the season. Now you're dropping down to third. Like what?
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what do you got for a pick there, Steele?
Oh man, gosh, dude, this is a must-win game for Florida, and I think they really need to do something here. I'm gonna say 4-3, Florida.
Oh, great mind thinks alike, Steele. Same pick.
Dude, I'm here to tell you,
No
man.
worries.
Tampa Bay's probably gonna get, or Florida's probably gonna get pasted, because I have a feeling that the Emil Arena is gonna be packed.
Probably.
I don't like this game.
No, me neither.
No, I don't like it at all.
I want to have that belief in my heart that the Florida Panthers will win tonight, but in my head, I'm like doing the math, and I'm like, yeah, Tampa Bay. There's no way Tampa Bay is going to win this game. But I want to believe in Florida, and I'm going to believe in Florida.
I like what Kyle Mercer said, or Lauren said. So you're telling me there's a chance?
That was from Dumb and Dumber. I think that was from Dumb and That was a great movie.
Lauren said that Kyle Mercer said that about, so you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah. I'm taking the Panthers 3-2, but it's purely because I want it to happen, not because my mind thinks it's going to. I think Tampa
That's
Bay
a good way to put that. That's a good way to put that.
It's just Tampa's outclassing them. Uh,
Yeah.
I'll hold on to Bennett being back because he did play extremely well in the playoffs for Calgary when he was in there. But that lineup, if that Tampa Bay is playing a full bore, there's not much Florida can do. If Kucherov is playing I can't like it's amazing. Guys like Kucherov, those superstar kind of players, they just seem to be able to come back and like turn it on just like that. And he's playing well, and so we better go to the next game, I guess. I almost feel, I think I'll feel weird, but I almost feel like I'll feel worse that Florida loses to Tampa, like especially if it's a sweep, than I did if like Oilers or Philadelphia, like I don't know why. I just love that. I love that team. I love those underdog teams that do what the Florida did this year. So
I agree, and the goat's in that same boat too. He loves those underdogs, and he likes the ones that come back, and you know what I mean. So we all like that, and
do you
that's
know
all a
that?
great story.
Do you know the goat and I had the exact same bracket?
Wow.
Exactly. We share the same brain, dude. Like every time something comes
Now,
up,
how
we
sick is this? Let me throw this at you now. Let me throw this at you, right? I was only off by one series.
oh yeah, yeah,
Everything else to the game, the
oh
number
yeah,
of games and everything. The only series that we had different was this Florida Tampa Bay.
yeah. We
Wow.
we were we were doing videos together, and we would do like, okay, you take some guys to trade, I'll take some guys to trade, and then we'll come back. But the problem was every time we had the exact same guys and all the time, so we wouldn't tell each other what it was going to be. But anyways, let's get to the next weird. We share the same brain.
Pittsburgh and the Islanders.
Can we
Yeah.
quickly talk about from Pittsburgh, Frederick Goudreau, who you guys probably haven't seen his stats, but in the past 5 games, he's had 5 assists or whatever. He's been
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
In 19 games, he has had 10 points this season and is still lighting it up coming into the playoffs. In 2 games, he had a big goal in the last game there for the Penguins. Goudreau's brother, I think it is played. Or no, not Goudreau's brother. It's just
Yeah,
they
it's a
have the same
different
name, but they're
spelling.
not brother.
It's a different spelling.
Yeah, he's French as well.
But yeah, that's a
But yeah,
great point. That's a
he's been
great
playing
point.
insane for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which it seems like the Penguins always have that depth that seems to always blow up or something in the playoffs somehow for their team. But also Goudreau seems to be playing alongside Carter and McCann as well, which helps a lot because Carter's been playing great this season since been going to Penguins, and also McCann. He's been insane as well for the Penguins as well, which is just great depth for the Penguins, especially going into this game 3.
People were not really expecting we all right, let me say it. I was not expecting Pittsburgh to be playing in this particular position at the beginning of the season. I was quite surprised. What seems like is going on here is this. It seems like the Islanders might have Yari pegged a little bit because they constantly are scoring with him over the high glove side.
Mm-hmm.
And until they fix that, that's a glaring hole there for Pittsburgh.
It
I
is, yeah.
agree. Carter Hart or Jeff Carter has been playing amazing for them since
Mm-hmm.
he's come over. In 16 games, he had what 9 goals and like
Yeah,
7 or 8
something like that.
assists, something stupid like that. Now in the playoffs, now he's got goals. I mean, he's been playing well. Malkin missed that one game, so he was second line center. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Stepped up there big time for them. And, I really thought that the Islanders were going to be the team to win the division,
Mm-hmm.
and now with this game here, it's like, man, this one's going to be tough. This one's going to be tough to call here because each team has played just good enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
I
mean?
think, yeah, I know. They've been 1 goal games. The last one, Pittsburgh won 2-1, and then the one before that, the Islanders won 4-3. These games have been dead even between these two teams. They are very, very even teams, and that it's a tough matchup. It really is for the Penguins because I mean, give it to Crosby. You know, he has been, excuse me, too productive. He's only had the one goal, but he's been playing such a good defensive game this year, and he's not getting enough credit for it, I don't think. But Crosby's been having a really good year defensively for the
Yeah,
Penguins. I
yeah.
think this one the Penguins will be able to pull away with. This is one that they got to play their hearts out. They cannot go down 2-1 in the series. They got to go up 2-1. And Yari has to play huge once again. He had a good game last one, but he has to have another big one
Yeah.
for the Penguins once again if this team is going
See,
to
this
want to
is the
win.
first game. This is the first game in New York. Okay. And I'll tell you what, with New York going into Pittsburgh and taking one away from Pittsburgh on home ice,
Yep.
okay, that to me is speaking a little bit more volumes than what Pittsburgh's been able to do so far. Look, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to take anything away from how well they've played this year. They won the division, but um, and Perlo, we talked about this throughout the year that we thought that and even we talked about it too, where Trotz came out and said, "Yeah, I was using the last 10 games as a preseason." You know what I mean? And now here,
Lauren thinks that Trotz is full of it there. But anyways,
oh
that's
yeah, I
one
mean
thing.
that was all lip service. You know,
I don't know. I don't
come
know.
on. Well, whatever. The fact of the matter is that I think it motivated his team. Okay, and the fact that he's got this team to a spot where, uh, quite honestly, if the Islanders win this game and go up 2-1, I think that's going to spell bad news for Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. If the Isles go up 2-1 in the series, it's going to be spelling some big time trouble for the Penguins. I think Penguins have to take this one. I think it's going to be another close one. I think this one's going to be 3-2 for the Penguins, same as the other one. It's almost hard to not pick these games as like one goal games because almost every single game in the playoffs has been a one goal game. We haven't seen very much separation between any of these teams. That's how fun these playoffs are. If you're in the stream and you're just getting introduced to hockey, watch the games that are on TV right now because they are absolutely amazing games, especially the Tampa Bay versus Florida game that we're going to be seeing tonight. It's going to be a good game. And in Toronto and Canadians, we haven't seen them face off against each other since the 70s. And we finally get to see them in a playoff series. That is amazing. And I am so excited to see these playoff matchups. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm with you on that, man, for sure. But I'll tell you what, Barzell needs to step up. Beauvillier needs to step up. They need to be putting more points on the board. They need to take care of things.
Well, the thing is, with the way that Trotz coaches the team, he almost plays everyone at the same amount of minutes. So Barzell's playing, 18 minutes a game, while, majority of the third liners and majority of the depth people are getting about 15 minutes a game. Everyone's very even in New York, where
Oh
Trotz
yeah,
looks to everyone to step up. And I
yeah.
think Barzell, without a doubt, needs to step up in these next couple of games and he needs to start getting those big time goals for this team, especially right now where he's been really quiet. He hasn't done anything in the playoffs for the New York Islanders. He was a big guy for them last year. He needs to step up there, get a couple big points in tonight's game if the Islanders are going to want to win tonight. And also,
I
Bill,
agree.
Varlamov will be in the lineup. It's likely Varlamov will be in since he was the first goalie off the Islanders' morning skate. And there's no confirmation on who will be the goalie for the Penguins, but most likely Jar will be the goalie.
That's what I was gonna think. That would probably be the goalies too. And I I've been I like what you know I like what the Islanders are doing here against Pittsburgh. It seems like this was the other kind of short end of the stick too, because I think Pittsburgh probably would have much rather have had Washington as their dance partner for the first round instead of the Islanders.
Yeah, the Islanders are tough. I mean, no matter who you go up against,
Oh yeah, but I mean
it's going to be a
historically though,
tough.
Pittsburgh plays
Oh
Washington
yeah,
a little better than they do the Islanders, and I believe the
yeah.
Islanders and Pittsburgh they split this year. I don't
I
know if they. I
think
can't
so.
remember what they did for the.
I don't really put too much stock in regular season myself.
No, I know, but
I,
I mean, it's one
you know,
thing when
Oh,
you.
Pittsburgh went six and
some
two against the Isles this year, so Pittsburgh
there's
Oh,
a
has
there's a
okay.
good
Well, there you go.
there's a good argument for both on that. Like I've had good discussions about it, but yeah, they I think they would rather go against Washington without Samsonov in that for sure.
Well, right. Anybody would probably, but you get what I'm
They,
saying, though. They
yeah.
yeah,
probably would have
especially
much rather have
since
liked going against uh, Washington than the Islanders.
well,
So,
especially the goaltending. Like it's a totally different case. Like you're having to go up against Samsonov or Craig Anderson or Venisek. With the Islanders, you're having to deal with Varlov, who's been amazing this year, and also Siorkin, which has also been doing very well in the first couple of games. So it's a tough challenge for the Penguins, but I do believe that they'll be able to take this one 3-2. I like the Penguins' chances in
I
tonight's
got the
game.
Isles winning I got the Isles winning 2-1. I think they're going to clamper down tonight at home. I just and I think I would go higher, but I don't. The way the Islanders just don't seem to like to score. That's kind of their problem. Against Jari, they should score a lot more. This whole series. Remember when we were doing this? We were all like, why? I really because Pittsburgh was so voodoo this year. I I'm not going to be surprised by anything that they could do at any moment because I don't think they ever really on paper should have got to where they did now. So where else can they go? This has been a very difficult series to pick who's going to win each game. I just think the Islanders at home in this one I'll take them to kind of slow down They did it really well last game, the last two rounds, and who was it? Was it Bill T that said watching Islanders game is like watching paint dry? It's true. When they're playing well, that's how they play, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And I think that you'll see a lot of that tonight.
so I'm gonna go with. I actually had picked the Islanders to win the division, but man, they just completely dropped off, and then Pittsburgh won the division. So I actually picked Pittsburgh to win this series, but I think that the Islanders are probably going to win this game 4-3 in overtime. And quite honestly, I think if they do win this game, I don't know, man. That if Pittsburgh's going to really have to, because then they have to do it at New York. You know what I mean? To try to come back to tie it up in New York, because New York was able to go to Pittsburgh and win two games or one of the two games in Pittsburgh. I don't think
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is going to be able to go into New York and win a game there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have that feeling. I'm sure they're going to prove me wrong now, of course, that I picked the Islanders. So, even though I have Pittsburgh winning this series.
We got 15 minutes to get two more games, guys, so we better go to the
All right.
next one. So,
We're okay. We're good.
Especially
Yeah.
since we got the Toronto Montreal one. This should be a fun one to talk about.
yeah, Toronto, Montreal, Price is in that. A lot of question marks in this one.
Actually, is Carey Price confirmed?
Yeah,
Is he?
I think so.
I don't like that decision. I'm gonna go on a little bit of tangent about the Montreal Canadiens because I think their coach is an absolute fool in what he's doing with this team going into the playoffs against the Canadiens. I understand that they are building the lineups for a playoff team, but when you have no goal scorers on that lineup, where are you gonna get your goals? Gallagher, Toffoli. But they haven't been able to score. You have Cole Caulfield in the lineup who is doing really well, but yet you scratch him and you decide to have a line of Corey Perry,
Oh.
Stahl, and Anderson who have all been playing like crap. And you expect that line to play defense against Matthews and Marner and Tavares. I am so excited to watch this game and have a big old smile on my face because they're going to be getting absolutely ripped apart against this Maple Leafs team. I feel like they're going to go out there and hit a lot, but I don't feel like they're going to have any goals for, or there's going to be definitely a decent amount of goals against on that line. And also, Carey Price broke his stick against the net because he was landing a couple easy shots in at practice. So how prepared is Carey Price going into this game? Montreal is just a whole gong show right now. And I have pure confidence in the Toronto Maple Leafs going up against the Montreal Canadiens just because of the fact that they benched Romanov, they have benched Cole Caulfield and Kotkaniemi. I don't agree with what Montreal is doing.
And Suzuki too,
Yeah, and
right?
Suzuki's playing on no Suzuki's in the lineup. He's
Oh,
playing
he
on the
is.
second line
All
with
right.
Toffoli and Armia.
Okay. See, that's where I was going with that too. Like, wait a minute. You're talking about guys that have playoff experience. Well, Kotkaniemi had great playoff experience last year. He played out of his freaking mind.
Well, not only that, how do you get playoff experience besides playing in the playoffs?
Yeah,
Like,
and aren't they struggling on their power play?
Caulfield and Kotkaniemi has outplayed both of these guys all year. And you're going to tell them they have to sit because they don't have any playoff experience. What are you going to do next year when they don't have playoff experience?
Well, that's not true because Kotkaniemi does have playoff experience.
Yeah, but I mean,
He has goals and everything.
He doesn't have as much playoff experience as Stahl.
Oh
and
man,
stuff
you
like
know
that.
what?
But
Well,
he's
what
not
is
going to
that-
have it next
what is
year
that
either because
line
you didn't
of-
play him this year.
What is that line of Perry, Stahl, and Anderson gonna do? Anderson was struggling near the tail end of the season, and his analytics are crap. Perry could only play defense, and Eric Stahl, I think he was struggling near the tail end of the season. Like he was been terrible this season, especially when he went to the Canadiens. He just did not fix up his game. And I felt like he was I think he was one of the worst acquisitions out of that deadline, I think.
Yeah, okay, I could see
Only-
that. I mean,
Well,
the acquisitions that the Islanders
Three
made.
points. Three
Stahl, you
points
mean?
in 21 games.
Yeah, Stahl's done. Stahl is
3
done.
points in 21 games. His analytics are terrible. Can't play defense.
No,
I
what
don't
was
know why
the
he's still in the
what was the
lineup.
players that the Islanders got from New Jersey in that trade? Who
Oh,
was it?
Palmieri's been doing amazing. Same
Okay,
with
so he didn't pan out real well
in the
after
regular
the trade
season.
deadline, but now since the playoffs come, he's
Yeah,
been on
but-
fire.
But
Yeah,
you're
but
playing,
you can't
you're
judge a
playing him
player.
over Kotkaniemi. You're playing him over Kotkaniemi. That's the issue, right?
Yeah, no,
I would
I'm with
love
you.
Stahl, but you're
You
playing
can't
him
judge a
over
player in
Kotkaniemi.
preseason either, Steele. You can't judge
Yeah, I
a player
got
in
you.
preseason.
I
Remember,
got you. I got you.
It was
Yeah,
preseason.
the preseason. Yeah, I got you. I got you. You know what? I'm with you on this one, Payton. I also agree that I would not have put Price in this game.
No, he's not ready. He doesn't look ready. He was lit up there in the ball, and I know people are like, "Oh, it's just like it's HL hockey." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's HL hockey. He should actually be doing good. It's like a warm up." And I'm like, "Yeah, but he should be making more saves than
He's a Hall of Fame goalie. I mean,
then
seriously.
2 goals and 4 shots, and then in practice he breaks his stick. There's an issue with Carey Price's game right now, and I love Carey Price. I was a big fan of him when I was younger, and I still do believe he could rebound, but the way that they just keep forcing him to play is gonna kill his career, and it just really does seem like that right now. I'm picking the Toronto Maple Leafs to win this game. I'm going to go with 5-1 Toronto. I feel like Toronto is just going to be too offensively dominating, and I don't think Montreal will be able to muster up very much offense.
Not the fact that they've kept their most of their best offense on the sideline.
Yeah,
on purpose.
Caulfield and Kotkaniemi.
On purpose. What? And you're putting in a goalie who's been out for how many weeks?
He
Hasn't
hasn't
played
played in a month, I think.
in a month, at
2
least or
months
more.
something like
At
that.
least or more. Exactly. You know, and now you're bringing him back now in the playoffs. I would have probably started Allen. I would have left Kotkaniemi in as well, and I would have left Cole Caulfield in. Okay.
Truth be told, though, they're not winning with Allen either. So, I guess you might as well. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the doctors
That's
are
true.
saying. But they're not winning unless they have Price playing the best he can, and either way. So, but now if he's going to be injured or if it's going to hurt him or something like that, then you might as well put Allen in, say had a good year.
All right. Well,
and
let me
take off.
throw something at you guys then, real quick. What if Price plays like as his Hall of Fame self? Do you still think Montreal can do anything?
Oh yeah.
I don't. I mean, they
He
might be
hasn't
able
did
to
it
win
for
the
2
game.
years though. He hasn't did it for 2 years. That is such a huge if that I just yeah.
And not even just that. Like, when has ever working with, relying on carry prices really worked for the Montreal Canadiens? Honestly,
I was
like
just asking the
they made it.
questions.
No, and I'm not being mean or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I think there's only been one time where the Montreal Canadiens really went that far with Carey Price being a huge contributor, and that's when Montreal actually had a decent roster
And there
and
you
they
have
went
it.
to the third round. But that was the only time, and
Yep.
they've been relying on Price to carry that team with
Ever
his
since.
back, but his back is broken.
Yep.
And a dumb coaching decision to leave Caulfield and Kotkaniemi out of the lineup when it's showing by multiple teams with young players like Newhook and like tons of other teams that are actually good coaches who are using their young players in the lineup, and they actually have gives it a little bit more oomph to the team instead of like, oh, we need veteran leadership. We need guys who play playoff games. You don't. Sometimes you just need that little bit of extra talent, like a Jake Getzel, who took the Pittsburgh Penguins to win a Stanley Cup, and he helped with Sidney Crosby, and he was a rookie that year. He didn't even
Yeah.
play a single regular season game up until he got into the playoffs, and he absolutely ripped it apart. Sometimes relying on a young guy is what you need to do, and I believe that's what Montreal needed to do with Cole Caulfield and Kotkaniemi. Both go with those guys. You would have had a better chance at being able to score and even match Matthews' goal scoring with Cole Caulfield.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
with
I
you.
was going to say that was back in the day when they played their best roster too, so that helped Price
Yeah.
a lot.
4 to
Okay, so
1.
let's get
4 to 1
to
much or 4 to 1 Toronto.
4-1. Oh, geez, I forgot about picks. Steele, because we only have one in here. 4-1 Leafs for Steele. What do you got, Payton? Like 6-1 or something?
Yeah, I think it was like 5-1. I said.
Yeah, you said 5 to 1. Yeah.
5-1. And then Pearlo, I'm going to say 4-2. I forgot that Caulfield. I was actually kind of thinking that Montreal might keep it close, but never mind. No, they're not going to.
So much for that.
I'm not picking them just for that ridiculous move that you leave Caulfield out.
Right.
It's so stupid. Okay, next game. We got 7 minutes to talk about also an extremely cool series. Uh, Golden Knights versus Wild. And this Wild team, man, is blowing my mind. All the guys they're taking it to whole nother levels here. And Vegas has got to bring up their game to another level right now because um, like I've said it yesterday, I'll keep on saying it. I don't know if I've seen a team possess the puck. You could say Colorado, but I don't even think Colorado with quite the flair that Minnesota does. Like they are possessing the puck in the offensive zone with the flair I don't think I've seen in a very long time. Since like back in the Oilers days when they used to do stuff like that. And you could get away with it back then too. They're doing, like I mentioned it yesterday, Harlem Globetrotter type stuff. A lot of people, maybe people in the chat won't know who they are. Check them out, Harlem Globetrotters. The
Oh, I
basketball.
know who they are, boy.
I
Let me
know,
tell
yeah,
you.
we do. Us old guys, we know who the Harlem Globetrotters are. The other team looks like the Generals in a lot of ways in the offensive zone, including Vegas in this game. Like they're just like,
Even
holy
down to their
crap.
green uniforms. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're moving the puck so fast, so quick, and they're making passes that most coaches, like Barry Trotz would lose his mind if he saw it. Seriously, Barry Trotz would freak out if he saw some of the passes that they were making there because they're risky, but they're so confident they don't care. It's incredible. I love it. It's so fun to watch. I picked Vegas. I love Vegas. It's my second team in the West, but I almost want Minnesota to win this just because they're so entertaining.
Both of the teams are entertaining. This series is electric, and I was like looking at this series, and I'm like, this series is going to be, I think, one of the best series. Like when I was looking at it, just seeing how Minnesota is a very exciting team with Kaprizov and just everyone there, how exciting the Minnesota Wild are, and then you have Vegas who plays a very defensive style game, but they also have that offensive ability to make it a really exciting game where you're going to be seeing a lot of shots all night long. And I think we're going to see another great game between the Golden Knights and the Wild again. You got it. These two teams are going to put on another show. And I feel like the Minnesota Wild have to march back into this series. But I feel like Vegas is going to put Minnesota up against the wall a little bit. And Vegas is going to come out and just take the crowd right out of it in Minnesota. I don't know if they have crowd in Minnesota yet. But I know some. Oh, that's good. I know this is gonna be a tough one because you could go either or. Like I would love to pick Vegas, but I would also like to pick Minnesota because these two teams are so even right now. The way that they're playing, like Minnesota had a great game in game two, where I thought Minnesota was gonna win that game, but Vegas somehow was able to pull it off with the great play for Marc-Andre Fleury, which I think is going to be the biggest decisive point in this series is who's going to play better, Fleury or Talbot.
That's a look. This whole thing, all I felt about this whole series was that it was all basically going to come down to the goaltending between the Vegas Golden Knights and what Minnesota was going to be able to do. Okay, because I think that physically both of these teams match up very well. Okay, they match physical to physical. Okay, where I think Minnesota is able to match what Vegas is putting out there on the ice as far as their big bodies, their big guys. The only thing is that Vegas has kind of lacked in the scoring department, and kind of so is Minnesota. So it's kind of like teams that aren't really like. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not scoring. Right, exactly. I'm not saying the teams don't score. It's just that you got teams that, this is going to be really tough to score. These are going to be some really, I mean, I have Vegas picked, but man, I'll tell you what, Minnesota just came out and played really, really well. I was very shocked to see how well they played against Vegas in both games, including the one they lost. You know what I mean? They still played really well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take this game. I'm gonna go 2-1 Minnesota. I gotta choose my boy. I gotta choose my boys in this one. I'm gonna choose the Wild. I'm gonna take them 2-1 in this game. I feel like Minnesota, they gotta march back after losing that game so close when they deserved the win in game two. There's a couple bad ones on Talbot. I think Talbot's gonna have a big night tonight. And Kaprizov, come on, baby. We got to see you go out there and get a couple big goals for the Wild.
Is it Fleury in net?
Yeah, Fleury's obviously.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be definitely in the net
Yeah.
for this game, without a doubt. But I think I'm going to go with Minnesota 2-1. I feel like Kaprizov is going to get a big goal for the Wild tonight. He needs to get something going. He hasn't been able to get his offensive juices flowing, but they got a great defense there in Minnesota that is exciting me every time I watch that team. The way that they move that puck around, and especially the way that they defend, is just a picture perfect way to defend against the Vegas Golden Knights.
I think this is going to be another split series because Minnesota was able to go into Vegas and take that one of those games away from, they were able to win on the road. And I think Vegas is going to win a game on the road too. So I even though it's been kind of an emotional thing for Minnesota, I still have to go with Vegas on this one because I still think that the goaltending is still going to be the key in this game. And I think that you're going to see Stone pick it up. I think you're going to see some of the players on Vegas is starting to step it up now because I think they understand now what's going on here with Minnesota. Minnesota and Vegas played really, really hard throughout this entire season. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a hard-fought season. It's not going to go quickly into the night. Okay, this is going to be hard-fought. But I'm still going Vegas on this one, and I'm going with you as well, too. I think it's going to be a low scoring. I'm going to go 3-1 Vegas.
Mm-hmm. 3-1 Vegas for Steele. Okay. If Pacioretty comes back, that would help out an awful lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's huge for that lineup. That's
missing that. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going the Wild 2-1 in this one. I'm really not sure though. It could go either way. I'm excited to watch it though. It's going to be a blast.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Same.
boy.
Look at all the people we got in the chat. We got to head out. It's time to move on. This has been awesome. Thank you all for coming in, and we love having you here. Yeah, we'll be
Thank
back
you all very
tomorrow.
much.
Are you going to be back, Steele, tomorrow? Or I know Peyton is.
I will.
I should be. I should be. I'll let you
Okay,
know.
so
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. But I should
we'll have
be.
a whole crew here again, and yeah, head over. I just did. We did a whole lot of trade Eichel talk. I did a whole bunch of videos on it.
Yeah,
You might
those
want
were
to check
good,
it out.
man. Those were
It's
good.
pretty good stuff. And I got one tonight coming out that is about Buffalo and where they're going to go and what they're going to want, and there's been a whole lot of stuff going on about Eichel and how good of a player is and stuff like that. And I just want to kind of defend the guy. He's an amazing player. But we'll see you if your picks come in tomorrow. Come on in and join us. I'm sure off the wall, John will be streaming all night for every game that
Yeah,
there
he's
is
got a
in the land.
doubleheader tonight. He's doing a doubleheader tonight.
I don't know how he's going to be able to speak. But,
But yeah, man, for sure. Check everybody out, www.steelflyers.com. Thank you all very much for watching.